Imagine waking up tomorrow and finding yourself stranded on a planet 600 light-years away, where a single year lasts 290 Earth days and the sun never sets quite right. You're standing on Kepler 22b, humanity's first confirmed planet in the habitable zone of a sun-like star, and you have absolutely no idea if you're about to become the greatest explorer in human history or the most distant corpse in the galaxy. Today we're taking you on the ultimate thought experiment. What would actually happen if you somehow found yourself on this mysterious super-Earth that's been tantalizing scientists since 2011? Buckle up, because this journey is going to be wilder than any science fiction movie. And by the end of this video, you'll know exactly why Kepler 22b might be humanity's best shot at a second home or our worst nightmare made real. The moment you materialize on Kepler 22b, your body immediately knows something is terribly wrong. This planet is 2.4 times larger than Earth, which means gravity is crushing you with 2.3 times the force you're used to, making every step feel like you're carrying a full-grown person on your back. Your 150-pound Earth body now effectively weighs 345 pounds, and simply standing upright becomes an exhausting workout that would make a powerlifter sweat. But here's where it gets interesting. If you can somehow adapt to this crushing gravity, you'd eventually develop superhuman strength compared to Earth standards, like a reverse Superman scenario where leaving this planet would make you incredibly powerful. The air pressure is also completely unknown, because we still have no idea what Kepler 22b's atmosphere actually contains. But let's assume for a thought experiment that it's somehow breathable, because dying from asphyxiation in the first 30 seconds would make for a pretty short video. Your inner ear is screaming at you as it tries to adjust to the gravitational difference, making you feel dizzy and nauseous, like the world's worst carnival ride that never ends. The most unsettling part? Your smartphone shows no signal bars, which technically makes this the most disconnected you've ever been from social media. And honestly, that might be the most terrifying part of this entire scenario. Congratulations, you've just become the first human to experience life in the famous Goldilocks zone. That perfect distance from a star where water can exist as a liquid, not too hot, not too cold, but just right for potentially supporting life. Kepler 22b orbits its star at about 0.85 astronomical units, slightly closer than Earth orbits the Sun, but its star is about 25% less bright than our Sun, creating this delicate balance that scientists have been obsessing over for over a decade. The temperature here hovers around a potentially comfortable 72 degrees Fahrenheit, assuming the planet has an Earth-like atmosphere, which means you could theoretically walk around in a t-shirt and jeans while exploring an alien world. But here's the kicker. That perfect temperature is just an average, and we have no idea how it's distributed across the planet's surface. So you might be standing in a tropical paradise or an Arctic wasteland, depending on where exactly you landed. The 290-day year means seasons here last almost 10 months each. So if you arrive during winter, you'd better pack patience along with your thermal underwear. What's absolutely mind-blowing is that every sunrise and sunset you witness is powered by a star that's been burning for billions of years, just like our sun. But this star has its own unique stellar fingerprint, meaning the light touching your face has never touched any other human in history. Here's where your adventure takes a potentially dramatic turn. Kepler 22b might be a complete ocean world, and we're talking about oceans that could be hundreds of miles deep, making Earth's Mariana Trench look like a puddle. If this planet is indeed covered in water from pole to pole, you'd find yourself in the middle of an alien ocean that stretches to every horizon, with no land in sight and depths that would make Jacques Cousteau's ghost weep with excitement. The water could be perfectly drinkable or filled with alien compounds that would kill you instantly, and there's literally no way to know until you take that first terrifying sip. Swimming becomes a nightmare scenario because that 2.3 times gravity means you sink faster, and swimming back to the surface requires superhuman effort, like trying to swim while wearing a suit of armor. But if there's land, it could be scattered islands or massive continents, and the geography could be completely unlike anything on Earth, shaped by different geological processes and that crushing gravity that affects everything from mountain formation to erosion patterns. The most exciting possibility is that those oceans could be teeming with alien life forms that evolve completely independently from Earth life, meaning you could be swimming with creatures that are so alien they'd make the deepest sea creatures on Earth look familiar. Imagine finding yourself sharing the water with beings that developed under a different star, with different chemistry, possibly even different ways of processing energy and reproducing that could revolutionize our understanding of biology itself. Let's talk about the elephant in the room, or rather, the atmosphere around the elephant. We have absolutely no clue what you'd be breathing on Kepler 22b, and this uncertainty could mean the difference between your first breath being refreshing or your last breath being toxic. If we're incredibly lucky, the atmosphere might be similar to Earth's with oxygen and nitrogen, but it could just as easily be dominated by carbon dioxide, methane, ammonia, or compounds that don't even exist naturally on Earth. The atmospheric pressure could be so high that it crushes you, like being 3,000 feet underwater, or so low that your blood literally boils, because space doesn't care about your comfort zone. Here's a fun thought. If the atmosphere is too thick, you'd experience a runaway greenhouse effect that turns the planet into a Venus-like hellscape, where lead melts and sulfuric acid rains from the sky, making your tropical vacation significantly less pleasant. On the flip side, if you can breathe the air, you might find that the different atmospheric composition creates the most spectacular sunrises and sunsets ever witnessed by human eyes, with colors that don't exist in Earth's sky because of different gas molecules scattering light in ways we've never seen. The wind patterns on a planet this size could create storms that make Earth's hurricanes look like gentle breezes, or conversely, the thicker atmosphere might create incredibly stable weather that never changes, leaving you in eternal spring or eternal winter, depending on your location. Your voice would sound different in this alien atmosphere, possibly deeper or higher, and sound would travel differently, making this world not just look alien, but sound alien too. Living on Kepler 22b means completely restructuring your relationship with time, because this planet's 290-day year throws every biological rhythm you've ever known into complete chaos. Your circadian rhythms, which evolved over millions of years to sync with Earth's 24-hour day, are now completely useless, and you'd have to figure out sleeping and eating patterns for a world that operates on completely different rules. If Kepler 22b is tidally locked to its star, meaning one side always faces the sun and the other is in permanent darkness, you'd have to choose between living an eternal day or eternal night, both of which would mess with your psychology in ways that would make jet lag seem like a minor inconvenience. The seasons here last nearly 10 Earth months each, so if you arrive during winter, you'd better hope you packed enough supplies to last until spring, because growing food in alien soil with alien seasons is a completely different challenge than anything humans have ever faced. Your birthday would only come around every 290 Earth days, which means you'd technically age slower in terms of planetary years, but your Earth biology would keep ticking at the same rate, creating this weird disconnect between planetary time and biological time. The psychological impact of these extended seasons could be profound, potentially causing seasonal affective disorder on a scale never experienced by humans, or conversely, giving you incredibly long periods of perfect weather that allow for projects and experiences impossible on Earth. Imagine having a summer that lasts 10 months, giving you endless time for outdoor adventures, learning new skills, or simply enjoying perfect weather for longer than most people's college careers. Now for the moment we've all been waiting for. What if you're not alone on Kepler 22b? The possibilities for alien life on this planet range from microscopic bacteria that could revolutionize medicine to intelligent beings that make humans look like cosmic toddlers. If life evolved in those deep oceans we discussed, you could encounter creatures that developed in high-pressure environments, possibly creating beings that are incredibly resilient and unlike anything in Earth's fossil record. The different gravity, atmospheric pressure, and stellar radiation could have driven evolution in directions that would make Darwin's head spin, creating life forms that photosynthesize differently, reproduce in ways we can't imagine, or process information using methods that challenge our definition of intelligence. Imagine meeting creatures that evolved under that different sun, with eyes that see wavelengths of light invisible to humans, or beings that communicate through methods we don't even recognize as communication, like chemical signals, electromagnetic fields, or vibrational patterns in the planet's crust. The first contact scenario could be as simple as finding alien algae in the ocean, or as complex as encountering a civilization that's been watching Earth through their own telescopes, wondering if they should make contact with the weird creatures on that small blue planet 600 light-years away. But here's the terrifying possibility. What if the life on Kepler 22b is aggressive and sees you as either a threat or a snack? You could find yourself as the unwitting star of an alien nature documentary, where you're the exotic creature being studied by beings who think you're as strange as you think they are. Surviving on Kepler 22b long-term would require you to become the ultimate MacGyver, because everything you know about survival comes from Earth, and this alien world doesn't care about your Boy Scout handbook. Finding fresh water becomes a cosmic lottery. Those oceans might be drinkable, or they might be toxic alien soup, and distillation might not work if the water contains compounds that don't exist on Earth. Food becomes an even bigger challenge because nothing you recognize as edible exists here, and you'd have to either learn to digest alien plants and animals, assuming they don't digest you first, or figure out how to grow Earth crops in alien soil with alien sunlight and alien weather patterns. The good news is that stronger gravity means you'd eventually develop incredible muscle mass and bone density, essentially becoming a superhuman version of yourself. But the bad news is that the adaptation process would be brutal, with constant fatigue, joint pain, and cardiovascular stress that could last for months or years. Building shelter requires understanding completely different materials and weather patterns, and you might find that traditional construction methods don't work under different gravity and atmospheric conditions, forcing you to innovate or die trying. Your mental health would face unprecedented challenges from isolation, alien environments, and the constant stress of survival in conditions no human has ever experienced, making psychological resilience just as important as physical adaptation. But here's the amazing part. If you could survive and adapt, you'd become the most experienced alien world colonist in human history, developing skills and knowledge that could benefit all of humanity when we eventually reach for the stars. As our thought experiment comes to an end, the most sobering reality hits you. Kepler 22b is 600 light-years from Earth, which means that even traveling at the speed of light, it would take 600 years to get home. And with our current technology, the journey would take millions of years, making your adventure effectively a one-way ticket to cosmic exile. But perhaps that's not entirely bad news, because your experience on this alien world would make you the most knowledgeable human about extraterrestrial life and planetary adaptation, essentially making you the ultimate ambassador between worlds. The data you could collect, the discoveries you could make, and the survival techniques you could develop would be invaluable for humanity's future expansion into space, even if you never make it back to share them directly. Your descendants, if you somehow manage to reproduce on this alien world, would be the first generation of truly alien humans, adapted to life under a different star with fundamentally different biology and psychology shaped by an alien environment. The most beautiful irony is that while you'd be the most isolated human in history, you'd also be the most cosmically significant, representing humanity's first step toward becoming a multi-planetary species. And who knows? Maybe the intelligent aliens you encounter have faster-than-light travel and could give you a ride home, making you not just humanity's first alien world survivor, but also our first intergalactic hitchhiker. So the next time you look up at the stars and wonder what's out there, remember that somewhere in the constellation Cygnus, Kepler 22b is orbiting its sun, waiting for the first human brave enough or unlucky enough to find out what it's really like to call an alien world home. If this cosmic journey blew your mind, imagine what other incredible worlds are waiting to be explored. Hit that subscribe button and ring the notification bell, because we're planning epic adventures to Proxima Centauri b, TRAPPIST-1, and other mind-bending exoplanets that could redefine what it means to be human in this vast universe. Drop a comment below. Which alien world would you want to visit next? And what do you think would be the biggest challenge of living on Kepler 22b? Your answer might just inspire our next interplanetary adventure.